Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Cody, and if my voice sounds a bit different today, that's because I do have a bit of a cold, but you know, the show must go on, as some famous person whose name I am unable to recall probably said. Was it Shakespeare? It sounds like the kind of thing that's related to Shakespeare. So what I wanted to talk about today was The Legend of Zelda, of course, because what else would I be talking about when I run Zelda Universe and new information keeps coming out each day? I'll probably be talking about Zelda for a while. More specifically I was going to talk about is what defines Link. Because this is a discussion I have with people when I get into fruitless internet arguments with them over like Twitter or something that I know I shouldn't be doing, because I know I'm not going to be able to get my point of view across to them in 140 characters or less in a meaningful way, and so nothing will be solved. You know, like, you really need to have like an actual discussion with them in person, or, you know, long form posting to sort of get your views across, but I end up doing it anyway. That's how you can tell that I'm still passionate about The Legend of Zelda, as I keep getting into arguments on the internet. So people say things like, oh, there can't be a female Link, because Link is defined as male. And I always find that really interesting, because when you ask someone what defines Link, their answer always changes. It's always retroactive. I'll show you what I mean. Like, if you ask someone and the original Legend of Zelda came out, like in like 1987 or whatever, what defines Link? Well, it's, you know, this short little guy with his shield with a cross on it or whatever that, you know, went around. He has to defeat Ganon. He's wearing green. You know, all of these things. But then the Zelda games keep going, and suddenly what defines Link becomes less and less, because he's not necessarily in Hyrule. He's not necessarily fighting Ganon. In Link's Awakening, the fourth one, Hyrule wasn't there at all. And then it's like, well, it's a kid, but then, oh, with Ocarina of Time, and then Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, this new one, there is no longer like a 10-year-old looking kid, it's a young adult. So does that define Link? What about the hair color? Sometimes their hair is pink, you know? And then the definition of what defines Link keeps narrowing itself down, because up until last week, up until yesterday, people would have said, what defines Link is wearing his traditional green outfit, he's got the Master Sword, you know, and he goes and defeats evil. But you look at the trailer for this new game, clothes are just equipable, it's just an RPG, and in most official art he's just wearing a blue tunic, and no famous hat, no iconic hat. So does that stop him from being Link? No, people retroactively, they change what defines Link. They keep going, oh, well, I guess that's not really what defines Link. What defines Link is he's male? Because, you know, because that's what's left to them. But here's the thing. If there was a female Link, if Link in the Wind Waker was female, I'm not sure if they'd even have to change his design, but, like, what would it change? Would people go, that's not Link? No. That's still Link. But there's no part of the original Link. If we were to... someone who doesn't wear the famous green clothes and floppy hat, who carries around axes, who's an adult instead of a kid. You know, in some games he doesn't defeat Ganon. You know, he might be male or female. But people still recognize Link when they see a new Link. So I just found that really interesting. It's actually probably related to something I was talking about earlier, which someone pointed out in the comments. It's the Ship of Theseus, I believe, where if you replace all of the parts, is it still the same Link? Well, Link's a lot of different characters, but you know what I mean. Like, if you take away all the things that define Link, but it's still very clear that the Link in the new game is Link, despite looking nothing like the one in the original, and breaking so many rules, You know, there's even voice acting in this, which apparently used to be, up until yesterday, it was a defining feature of the Zelda series. You'd talk to people and they'd say, no, that's what differentiates the Zelda series. Then voice acting happened, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm fine with it. But yeah, that's my probably incoherent YouTube rant on what defines Link. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm not necessarily for or against a female Link, by the way, but that's just an example that it crops up in discussion a lot, and it brings up that bigger question. Alright, see you next time. Where's the camera? See you next time.